Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another session of Uncle Steve and Nephew Michael.
Hello.
We're here today to give a little broadcast of just about everything that we haven't covered before and a little bit more.
So the New England Patriots look good even though they lost against the Buccaneers?
Yes. Both teams look good. I like both teams. I was just waiting for the better team to win, and apparently
Brady came through.
Brady
Well,
came
his team.
through. His team came through.
His team came through. Both teams look good.
Yes.
But Brady did not get a passing touchdown
No.
into Belichick's defense.
And he overthrew the first four passes that he threw out there.
Yeah.
So it was an off day for Brady, but he pulled through. The team won. It's a team effort, not just the quarterback.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And tonight the Red Sox are playing in the playoffs.
Yes.
They beat the Yankees. So that's pretty cool.
Alrighty.
All right. So besides sports, I'd really like to get back into witchcraft.
Yes.
Salem, England, China, Egypt.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's hit them one by one.
So what do you have to say about the witchcraft?
Witchcraft and let's hit witchcraft in Salem.
Okay.
That was the fever was all over Europe of witches being prosecuted, persecuted, and seen everywhere, flying over trees and kidnapping little children and being thrown down to the earth as church bells went off. So it was all part of the times. You had to live there during that time to really understand what was going on. But people really believed that witches existed and they had those kind of powers.
I think that the witchcraft was certainly legit.
Witchcraft is legit.
But it was also
hyped
up. Yeah, yes. It was exaggerated.
Right.
To make them look evil and maybe even to take land from them even.
Well, witches is soft compared to devil worship, which is totally different category. But right. The witches had a bad rep.
Apparently, with the witchcraft, it's a worship of the devil and a lot of that. And that's what they were saying in Salem was that they were speaking to the devil.
Yes.
He was speaking back to them.
Right.
And then the rest of the town had a problem with it and did what they did as executions to the witches.
And they had over 100 trials, I believe, and they stole a lot of property and territory. All you had to do is to accuse your neighbor of being a witch, and then you owned his farm. So, you know, the same thing was going on all over Europe.
Yeah. England had lots of witchcraft going on. Still does.
Yes.
All through both world wars, before the world wars, now.
Well, England used to be a Christian nation, and then they turned Protestant with the beheading of King Henry VIII's wives. So when it turned Protestant, it was more susceptible to being accused of witchcraft by the Pope and by Christianity as a whole.
Yeah, and again, I do believe that witches are certainly are bred by nature. You see what I mean? Where through genetics, as they express themselves, and they become like a woman who was a witch knows she's a witch.
Right.
She just knows.
Right. She knows.
No one can tell her any different.
Right. Yes.
Or a man even.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So around the world, you have witchcraft. A lot of persecution going on over it. More likely, just like there was persecutions of the Christians.
Yes.
You know, so I don't think all these witches were actually evil at all. More than likely, it's just that they were practicing their own understanding of nature and being one with God, if you'd say.
Yes, nature worshippers rather than devil worshippers.
I think they like to call that light magic.
Or
the
white
Wiccas
magic.
do. Yeah, white magic. Light magic, yes.
And that's probably true, like the Project Blue Book. 99.7% of it is all hype, and maybe you get a little truth in there, but
then there's a small percentage.
there's a small percentage which is
where you
absolutely
find the real
is
deal.
a witch,
Yeah.
and does their thing. Yes.
Yeah. So ancient Egypt, sophisticated for its time, definitely had priests, and they believed in sorcery and magic and things like that, and they did bloodlines across the lands down there doing that, making pharaohs and worshiping the pharaoh, and then there was magic that they were telling the slaves and everyone else down there, and they were all into it as well.
Right. But in the Bible it says that God went into Egypt and prepared Egypt to be the slave owners of the chosen people, the Jews. So he made magic while he was there. He created it.
Yeah.
He taught them how to turn a wooden rod into a snake. So the magic was real. It does exist. How much of it was ever carried out of Egypt and for how long? Don't have a clue.
Yeah.
But it's all true.
I say it's definitely real. Okay, so we left off one time before on Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. Go ahead and elaborate on Bohemian Grove. Yeah.
So all I know about it is that Bohemian Grove is it's a place where the super elite go.
Super elite of our planet call themselves human beings.
Yeah.
But they actually think of themselves as the elite human beings.
Yeah.
The queen bees of their age and era.
The kings and queens.
The kings and queens.
So they all
the
go over there.
Natural born rulers.
So I think it's in California. There's a huge owl over a lake, and it's called Moloch. And across from, so that's on one side of the lake, and then the other part, if I got this correct, and the other side is where they're all sitting on like these stools or logs where they got to sit down from. They're all wearing.
And all this was kept hush hush for many years, and then it was exposed by one individual.
That's true.
Pictures.
Yeah. So and then several probably since then.
Yes.
And so they're all wearing robes.
Yes.
And they have the torches at nighttime.
Why we shouldn't trust our leaders.
And they're all loving it.
Yes.
And they call it the cremation of care.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But what the heck? You know, you got to do something. You know.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
If you're rich, you run out of things to do, so you act stupid.
I think it's awesome.
You just don't tell everybody else about it.
Yeah, basically, that's what happened with the guy broke in there and told everyone about it. Yes. But the thing is that like it's been exposed so much since then.
Oh yeah.
That it's not even a secret anymore.
Right.
Not even a secret anymore. But you know, okay, so going into secrets, same type of hype, goes into the same areas of witchcraft. What do you think about the Vatican? We've got the Pope going on.
Yes.
We've got the priest allegations, and what are they hiding in the basements of the books, and what they're not letting people read.
Well, what do they have in conclaves and the secret library? Well, Adolf Hitler had an interest in the Vatican.
He was friends with the Pope, right?
He was friends. He became friends with the Pope because Mussolini pretty much said, "Look, I won't attack you as long as I'm in charge." And Mussolini and the Vatican came separate, but you know, they both held their own ground. But Hitler wanted to own the Vatican. He wanted Mussolini to move in his troops and take it over, but he said no. People would never agree with it, and a lot of political maneuvering went on.
Yeah.
But the Vatican has its own. The Vatican has its own people to take care of its own people.
I don't want to mess with the Vatican. I'm just saying
mess with it.
I just think, okay, how about this? Do you think that they actually have books or paintings or whatnot beyond what's already come out of paintings of Jesus with UFOs in the background?
Yes.
So it's all really connected, right?
Yes.
Let's check the footage real quick.
Sure. And the thing with the Vatican is they are so secretive, that they are so big that they work against themselves just like anything else.
Yeah.
And like the Polish Pope that they had worked against other popes, and some popes were said to have secret agreements with the devil himself. And most popes are believed to be sanctified, and they talk to God himself. So it's been up and down with the Vatican and what power they have and what they really have. But do they hold secrets? You bet they do.
Yeah.
Are those secrets things that the human race is supposed to? I think God came and gave secrets.
Yeah.
He said, disperse it to my people.
Yes.
And they, in their religious fervor, said, oh no, people aren't ready for this. We know better than God, basically, what they were saying, and we'll hold it secret. Wow. And also, at the end of times, they're supposed to have certain prophecies and predictions that they're supposed to release at a certain time during the end of times. And will they do it? I wouldn't count on it.
Wow, not even with the current Pope?
Not even with the current Pope.
Wow.
No.
Maybe.
The Pope is into, what do you call it, boy and boy stuff. And
oh, jeez, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And he's a major defender of them, geez. And it's politics in the Vatican. It's
sometimes the Pope is poop and pee because they're playing with the little boys.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's true though. I mean, there's a lot of there's shady. There's definitely a shady history to the Vatican like that.
Definitely.
No questions. And,
corruption ran rapid.
But they got a lot of issues right now in the news with money.
Money.
Yeah, money going missing. A lot of money going in there.
Oh.
He's just reassigning people to who's running the money because
it's just disappearing.
Nothing ever counts up.
Sounds like what happened before the Vatican. The Popery was bought by the Vatican because the Popery was in debt. They were in debt because people ripped off all the money of the Popery. So at one point, some rich individual said, hey, look, I want to be Pope. And they said, sure, bring your money. And they did, and they made a deal, and he was Pope.
Yeah.
So how much reliability does the Pope give, and the whole idea of churchdom? And it reminds me of the days when Jesus Christ walked. All of religion was against him. His own people who were supposed to be there, the pre-callers of the return of Jesus Christ, were all working against Jesus Christ in their own interest.
What do you think about in the Vatican where they all get together, the priests and all them they have a stadium where it looks like a serpent, looks like the snake's mouth. And you can see the scales going up, and in the back is supposed to be a picture of Jesus, but it looks like Halloween. They show all these roots and all come together from the very bottom of the earth, and they come together and seem like they're reaching out like a tree. Yeah, it's all in the Vatican, and they have a lot of. So I definitely believe in the fact that like they've never lost contact with, like, say, astrology.
Right.
Going into the paranormal.
Yes.
Because they already know it's real. When they go deep in the Bible, and they go into science and they match it up and astronomy and everything, and they do the homework, they already know that there's connections to be made.
There was a conscious decision made way back when that the Vatican would accept only the religion of Christianity. So it left out the Druids and all the sciences of the world and all mankind were left. Well, you come second to Christianity. The Vatican became its own worst enemy.
Yeah.
It wasn't spreading Christianity. It was depressing other people with other beliefs who should have become part of Christianity. Yeah. They had more to offer the human race than they were given credit for.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay, what about the Knights Templar? That ties into the Vatican too, because when the Knights Templar went down on a Friday the 13th, there was the Pope and the French King, going in on each other on an agreement that they would take all the wealth and all the that mosquito right there.
Okay.
And all the, let's see, any type of knowledge, gold, ships.
All the
any type of wealth.
Anything
of value that they could get from the Knights Templar.
Well, that's
Can you elaborate to me on the Knights Templar before we go into it?
Okay, get into the Knights Templar. There's two versions of them, the one that the Pope and the King made, and one that they really were. And because they were secretive, they were subject to being accused of many things and doing many things and being antichrists.
What were they accused of?
They were accused of being in collaboration with the devil.
Witchcraft.
Yeah. They're accused of not actually worshiping God. They're accused of, they were into money laundering.
Yeah.
They were into money letting.
Weren't they like the banks of their time?
They were the banks of their times, and they caused a lot of wars to be. Because without the banking system of the Knights Templar, kings wouldn't have the power to challenge their neighbors in warfare. So how much good did they do compared to how much bad they did?
They fought wars too?
They made wars to be fought.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So they were deep into war like that?
They were deep into war.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Knights Templar overall, I believe in them. I believe they did a good cause. They're a good staunch belief. When they left one Knights Templar to take the heat, and they boiled his feet off, and tortured him. He knew they were coming, but he wanted to make sure that the Knights Templar ships left harbor, because it takes so much time in preparation and supplies and everything else before they could leave. He sacrificed himself for the better good. And I think that's what the Knights Templar was all about, the better good.
My opinion, that's definitely you in another life, Uncle Steve. For sure. I really believe that. Every time we talk about that, I think, that's you, because it just makes a lot of sense. Friday the 13th, your life story as I know it. As we know it.
Okay.
So the Knights Templars. So they boiled his feet. They captured other Knights Templars. They tortured them.
Yes.
Many others got away. They think some got to Newport, Rhode Island, where they built that tower. The tower. Right. And some may have gotten to England. Some certainly got to Portugal.
Yes.
Where the king gave him clemency to work and live with him.
Yes. And other nations that exist at the Dutch territory, other kings and queens, wherever they were welcome and supported, is where they went.
Wow, so they just flourished everywhere.
They flourished everywhere and went underground to do their work.
Wow.
Do they exist today? Yes. In what form? Different form than what they used to.
I like that. That's true, huh? Yeah. So in all these areas of the Vatican, Knights Templar, even the popes, the priests, somewhere along the line, they're all dealing with some type of sorcery, whether it's Jesus or anything.
Yes.
Because they're going upon a spirit.
All magic, like everything else, comes from God. Like everything else, it's all circles. In the end, God begins from God and ends to God.
Yes.
I give you power to be able to feed people, and you either feed them or you don't. I give you power to do this, that, and the other thing. You use it for good or evil. It's up to you. It's all decisions and life. And God sits in judgment over us all. Disappointed at some times and elated at other times.
Yeah.
So it's all circles upon circles in reality.
Wow, and karma is definitely real.
Karma is real.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Not all are reincarnated, not all are ghosts, not all of this, that, and the other thing. God is encompassing of everything.
Yeah.
So there's a little of this, a little of that, a little of the other thing. It's all God.
Right.
But he wants you to think it's not me. What are you going to do with what I give you? And from there he can say, you heaven, you hell.
Yeah.
Definitely hell.
Right.
You know, and
we've got spirits, we've got witchcraft, we've got ghosts.
You got magic.
Real. I mean, yeah, magic. I mean, like there's people have seen orbs. I've seen orbs.
Definitely.
You and I have seen a ghost encounter.
Sure.
In Freetown State Forest, which is within the Bridgewater Triangle. So that's what we saw. So we already know, through amongst other things we've talked about, it's all 100% legit.
It's all legit. It's how much, you know, if somebody stands there and says, bah, humbug, none of it's true, then they can commit evil crimes and have no conscience.
Wow, yeah.
But if they know and realize that it's coming from God and there will be an accounting, then you're more reserved in what you do and you're more careful upon your actions.
Yeah.
And what you do and don't do. So it's like growing a brain, growing a conscience, investing in one's own soul, evolving, creating it. Some souls would be 1,000 feet tall, and other souls would be as tall as little mice, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe that's true if you can see souls.
Yeah.
And God is the judgment of soul, not the mind, not the brain.
Right. True story, yeah.
Thought, word, and deed.
Yeah.
Yes.
How you treat people.
Yeah, how you treat people, how people treat you. So, yeah, but God prepared Egypt to be the slave owners of his chosen people because they misbehaved. In order to do that, one, they had to have them as slaves and not kill them outright. They had to want them in their own country and not leave them backwards Israel at the time after it was conquered. So all this had to happen. All this did happen.
Yeah.
And what's said of Red China is supposed to be the dragon, and they have a part in prophecy of the ending times.
Yeah.
The end of times.
And the Revelation.
I haven't gotten into it, so I don't really know all the details, but it's going to happen. It's going to be what it's going to be, what God said it is. And
I've asked you this before. We talked about it before. So I've never read this book, but I want to read it. It sounds interesting. It's called, and before I talk about it, I guess, from what I understand, it was a book that the Vatican had gobbled up, but now it's released again.
Yeah.
It's called...
they have their politics.
Yeah.
They play their games.
Yeah. So
too much power in the hands of idiots does things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyways... Yeah, so I guess they've done that with several books, and it has to do with Jesus.
Yes.
And like what he was actually doing. He may have been using drugs of that time.
Yeah.
Like psychedelics. They believe that he was using a mushroom, perhaps.
Right.
It's theory. Well, what do you think about that?
Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. I didn't live at those times, so I can't say.
And at the same time, aliens guided them along. That's the actual theory out there. I just want to go out there with it.
I think when Jesus Christ did his thing on earth,
and God, of course,
definitely had the interest of beings of non-earthly forms involved because they wanted to know the outcome. Because you remember that you have the fallen angels which were cast unto earth, as well as the devil who was cast unto earth.
Yeah.
They're all waiting their time for judgment. They know that they're going to come out on a bad end of the stick, but they all want to know the involvement of others and how much time they get on the clock before the blade comes down on their necks. So it's all circles upon circles.
Yeah.
It's all interrelated.
So I know a while back I was reading about exorcism.
Yes.
And then we watched a movie not too long ago, right?
Yes.
About exorcism. And where they had that going on in the Vatican, and I know number-wise there was a lot of it back in the day in all through Italy.
Yes.
And I guess in some parts of the United States. I think the movie The Exorcist is based off of an actual event they believe.
Happened.
Though some are skeptical, but some people believe that it was actually a boy and he was possessed by a demon.
If not a real story, a story based upon truth.
Yeah.
So yes, exorcism seems to be in certain areas and not in other areas. Like we don't have it out in Africa, I don't think. But in Christianity, in Christian countries, because the Vatican, it's the curse of Santo Christo, because the Vatican was made by Jesus Christ's will that the churches would exist, that the devil plays a bigger part as he can in disrupting the workings of Jesus.
So
he's more active. So he's seen more and does more. The best thing that he can do is say, I don't exist. And do whatever he wants to. If you know he exists, then you can fight him. But then you can only do so much. Because you're not God.
In our family, we have the Santo Cristo curse.
The Santo Cristo curse.
All right, because our family comes from St. Michael's, Portugal,
right?
Which is one of the islands, right?
Of the Azores. Yes.
So from St. Michael's, what's the story? How does this?
The story is that one of my grandparents had children, and his son was very ill and was on the verge of dying. So he talked to God and he made a pact with God. He said, "Please let my son live, oh Jesus, Jesus God." They're always intermixed circles. Please let my son live, and I'll rename the family Santo Cristo, which means Jesus Christ in Portuguese. So that the son lived, and he renamed the family Santo Cristo. And the last was my mother, which is your grandmother.
Yeah.
On the female side.
Yeah.
Of the name Santo Cristo.
That was grandma's last name. Santo Cristo.
That was her last name.
Oh, so grandma was Santo Cristo.
But just because the name changes doesn't mean that the blessing or the curse changes.
Right.
Because in religion they follow the female side of the families, not the male side. We're used to following the heredity like Sylvia because that's our last name.
Yeah. But
on religion they follow the breeding of the female. And like Mary Magdalene, that was left out so much because male jealousy.
Yeah.
But she got the short end of the stick there. Yeah.
Wow.
This is another subject.
Yeah. So Santa Cristo, and then we had family members that were into Ouija boards and doing spirit gathering with other people, right?
Well, Ouija boards I don't know about, but we had some people in our family who used to do tarot cards, which is forbidden in the Quran, which means it's forbidden for us to do. But there's a lightning side of Christianity. That is a white lie and a regular lie. And, if you use the tarot cards only for good, that it's less of a sin than if you use it for money.
Right.
Using tarot cards for money is always a sin.
Yeah.
And it's forbidden.
Yeah. But
using it to try to help someone or mend a relationship.
There's a lot of good witches and psychics in Salem, Mass that actually make a good living doing it, I guess.
Yes.
Right? And they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
There's people that want that and they need it. And then they come to the right person and they give them the message they were looking for and they really got it.
It is
amongst
good.
The real ones.
Helps
the real
ones. There are people with the power that can do it. But again, it's forbidden. Forbidden knowledge. It's the fruit again. It's biting the apple.
The apple, huh?
We want to get away from that. We want to get away from the apple.
Isaac Newton bitten the apple, huh?
Yes, I can become rich by doing this, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then everything you ever own, everything you ever touch, everything you ever give to anybody, it comes with a kind of a curse to it.
A curse, yeah.
A curse to it, like cursed money and a pirate ship or anything else. Ill-begotten gain.
With the knowledge comes certain
responsibilities.
Ooh.
So
deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
The less you do, the better you are. But the more I can understand. Well, just like telling a white lie.
Yeah.
Does that help someone?
Yeah.
Or does that hurt someone? I mean, you can look at it both ways, and both ways are right.
And once you know, you can't unknow, right?
Once you know, you can't unknow. Once you do, you can't undo.
Yeah, wow.
And then what do you do the next time you ask? And the next, and the next. You know, so. But, yeah.
So the burning of witches, drowning of witches, all of that.
Yeah.
They treated Jesus the same way. They crucified him. So I guess any type of talking to God or spirits or anything like that back in those days at any time,
right,
got you in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah.
But nowadays, at least in this country, witchcraft is pretty much legit.
It's legitimate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just as long as it's for good.
Devil worship is practiced in San Francisco. The only thing they leave out is the offering of killing people, murder.
Yeah.
Murder is still a crime under the Constitution.
Yeah.
And if they go into the field of murder and human sacrifice, they'll be arrested on those charges, not for being a devil worshiper, but for the murder, the actual crime.
Oh, that's nonsense.
And they're tax-free.
Yeah.
So, who's to say?
I'd say a good sacrifice is smoking some marijuana. I think that's a good sacrifice.
I think when the people in the Indian villages, and I'm talking about American Indians, used to have their peyote or whatever, and they still do.
Right.
And they're allowed by law.
Yeah. That
they had more contact with God and godly things than if you didn't do it. That they have a step up, and not a step back.
So some people thinking a step back are just not educated enough to understand. Listen, they were really into something heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I really believe what you're saying because I already know it's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Wow.
But when Christianity started prosecuting and persecuting people who were not Christians, they were absolutely wrong. That's not what Jesus Christ taught. Jesus Christ taught the tolerance of any and all people, even people who don't believe in God, are to be tolerated. They're not to be persecuted, hanged, prosecuted, shunned, and what they do pretty much.
Yeah.
If you're not part of the congregation, then you receive nothing. If you're part of the congregation, then we give you food, medicine, clothing.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And it goes on. What Jesus Christ taught and what they interpreted to be, like slavery, can be explained in the Bible.
Yeah.
If you want to read it that way. If you want to read it, it can be explained. But it's not. You're going to be judged by what you do, not by what others do to you. They're going to be judging their own church. But you are going to be judging everything you do. Now, why did you hit him? Well, you hit me first. Okay, fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Things happen though, huh? We all learn. From that.
In the 10 Commandments it says thou shalt not kill. But in reading of Jesus, I wrote it down at home. It says, Jesus Christ said thou shalt not murder. Do not murder is his words. Now there's a big difference between killing and murder.
Yeah.
You can kill someone without murdering him because you have to. Self-defense, wars, battles. The Jews killed the people in the territories that they were given by God. They killed. Killing was a normal part of serving God, whereas murder is always forbidden. You do not murder. That's when you're killing somebody just for selfish reasons. But I think we need to be more like the ants and less like the rats.
Gotcha.
And I
work together.
Work together.
Yes.
Black, yellow, black and white, and form it. If we did it right, if humanity pulled together, there would be no reason for Jesus Christ to have been here. We would have been doing it right. If we did it right, there would be no reason for us to even know God existed, because we'd be doing it right. But failing all that, failing Jesus' teachings, failing God's teachings, and we still can't do it right. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like befuddles my mind that we can have such creatures as ourselves, humans,
yes,
and so absolutely, totally backwards of what we believe.
Yeah.
So
that's the world we live in, right?
That's the reality of this world. Reality of this world. Hopefully God created other worlds, and hopefully other species and beings who comply with God, comply with Jesus, and live a better life than I have. And I'm envious of them, because they were able to do what we could not.
Yeah.
Pull ourselves together as a human race and say, look, we're all human here, let's get along, let's do it right, work for the common good, the better good, and make it happen. We would have been in space decades ago, if not 100 years. The Dark Ages never happened, we would have been in space 40 years, 80 years before we did.
Yeah.
You know, and time and time again.
NASA came together, got us to the moon, huh?
Yeah, got us to the moon.
Wow.
But the Dark Ages almost made us an extinct civilization.
Right. So, speaking of the moon landing ties into scientists that were American scientists.
Right.
That were into the occult, apparently, because they were Nazis before that, right? Like Wernher von Braun, and a lot of other scientists.
Yeah.
And look at, it's what happened a long time ago. 80%
of American scientists do not believe in God, are atheists.
Yeah. But they were into the occult over there, right? Where they were doing torches at night.
Yes.
They're doing their
right, the SS secret meetings,
yeah,
which were above the people, and their people were supposed to know that they were the superpowers behind us. I mean, secrets upon secrets, which usually happens whenever you're talking about dictators. And a dictator is a challenge to God.
Yeah.
Dictator's worst enemy is that God exists and God is real, and they fight God all the days they exist and rule, and they catch up to themselves when they die. Because then God goes, aha, my turn. I know what you did. My turn.
I mean, everything. I've noticed that once I dove into witchcraft myself, that everything is calculated.
Mm-hmm.
It's all calculated. It's all numbered.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's like, even when something or thinks it's not a part of this, the observation, everything's a part of everything. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's just a deep thing. I don't know. I don't have words for it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
everything.
Insane.
It's all connected.
I don't think the Druids should have been persecuted, prosecuted,
eliminated,
killed, or enslaved because they were Druids.
I think some of the Druids got away.
I think we lost knowledge because of Christianity's absolute rule. If it ain't Jesus, then kill it.
Yeah.
And that's not what Jesus taught. But that's what the religious interpret, take for their own power, and do. And try to persecute the world for it.
Yeah.
So, what else you got on the table, Michael?
I think we've tied in a lot with witchcraft. That's what I really want to tie it all in. Because it's Halloween coming up, which is my birthday.
Definitely.
I'm happy. I love Halloween.
Yes.
It's my favorite holiday.
Yes.
Other than all the other holidays.
Right.
They're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good. I love them all.
Yeah.
I love Christmas and Thanksgiving, Easter,
Sure.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
For me, that's a holiday.
May the 13th was the seeing of Our Lady of Fatima and the 3 children. That's when she actually saw it.
That was in Portugal, right?
That was in Portugal.
All right, tell me about that.
The children talked to Mother Mary, and
It was like 3 children.
3 children, 3 Portuguese children.
Right.
And they were peasants.
Yeah.
So they didn't have much power or anything else. And Mother Mary talked to them as a saint, in which they could hear her. And then she promised, they asked her to prove to the people that they weren't cuckoo, that she could perform a miracle. And it was the miracle of the rose, I believe, she performed. That rose in a season where there are no roses.
Yeah.
Was there.
Wow.
The bush was found. And then it went on that she gave predictions. It was during World War I. Portugal was on the side of the Allies. And casualties were coming in every day. They would announce in the village, so-and-so died. And she predicted that there would be a worse war than what was going on. She predicted it. Then it made sense that what she was saying was true. If the people did not pray enough, if God was not appeased, if God was not pleased to the point of changing what will be,
He will birth what He has to birth.
He will birth what He has to birth.
Yeah, wow.
I am a jealous God, there shall be no strange gods before me.
Jeez.
And
No joke, huh?
He is God,
Yeah, you don't
absolutely.
play around.
And He has the power and authority to do it, and He does. He executes.
And then if I remember correctly, a couple of I think all the girls became nuns, and or one of them did for sure.
One did,
and outlived
the
all of
others
them.
died. Yeah.
Okay, one outlived them,
One
was
outlived.
a nun, and then there was another secret that the Pope was supposed to come out with,
Yes.
and going around to what you were saying before.
Yes, right.
The Popes don't give out all the secrets.
Right.
They hold them back
Yes,
anyways.
yes.
So that was one of those things.
Yes.
Well, I think we've definitely covered a lot. We covered a lot, Uncle Steve. I'm good.
I'm good. I
Yeah.
think we did well.
We did pretty well. I'm happy with everything.
Good luck.
I love witchcraft. It's awesome. Uncle Steve and I, by nature, birthed into it. He doesn't practice it. I do. It's just, but we still love each other, and we both believe in God.
Right.
So, thank you for watching. If you would like to join the family, then please subscribe. And if you like it. If you don't like, then that's okay too. Just let me know what I did wrong, and we'll figure it out. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God be with you.
Oops, blooper already. But many more.